Unfortunately, what I have to say in revealing what I witnessed in that time period was a very young Puffy, Sean Puffy Combs, that had really been busting his chops to appeal to Andre Harrell.
We haven't heard from Angie Stone in a while, but we forget that she was around during the start of Uptown Records. Now, she worked at MCA, but she had a close relationship with everybody at Uptown Records, from Albie Shore, Faith Evans, Andre Harrell, who was ahead of Uptown Records at the time. But she also talks about Mary J. Blige and how she tried to help her out, and as well as Diddy. The only time that Diddy ever spoke to Angie Stone was after the 1991 stampede at the City College. So let's go ahead and get into the video right now.
You know, it seems like the topic at hand is P. Diddy. I'll take you all the way back to the early 2000s when P. Diddy had just become an intern at Uptown Records, which was housed in MCA Music, which was where I just happened to have a publishing deal as an MCA songwriter. Woo! Can we get into it, guys? Unfortunately, what I have to say in revealing what I witnessed in that time period was a very young Puffy, Sean Puffy Combs, that had really been busting his chops to appeal to Andre Harrell as the intern of life. He was getting it in. I mean, that was when Albie Shore was there. That was when Jodeci was there. That was when Mantronic was hot. They were up against, you know, that kind of lineage. Mary J. Blige had just been brought to the scene. I just happened to be a fly on the wall at the time. Unlike so many other people that say they were there, I actually was on the ground floor of the groundbreaking P. Diddy as an intern, Mary J. Blige as a new artist, Total, and so many others that were coming through to the Uptown camp. I had never seen a hustle so intense as P. Diddy. He would run through MCA Records like he owned the place. I mean, he would dot. I'm like, who is that skinny little kid? He looked very much like his son looks now. I mean, it's uncanny, but it's almost identical. But he was running through that building like, I am the man, and if I'm not that man yet, I will be soon enough. Lo and behold, there was a writing room. I was an MCA songwriter at the time. I had just penned the song, Seems You Much Too Busy, by the group Vertical Hole. I know y'all remember that song. If you don't, go to YouTube, type in Vertical Hole and the song, Seems You Much Too Busy. You will see a 3-member group there singing, and I'm in the dark. That was what they did because I was overweight and they didn't want anybody to know how overweight I was, so they shadowed me in the dark, so all you saw was my face. That was an attempt to cover me so that it wouldn't hurt the sales of the record. At the time, it was very disheartening because I didn't think the way it had anything to do with my voice. You had 2 Tons of Fun. You had all these other big women that was out there putting it down, from CNC Music Factory and, you know, so many other people who wasn't caught up with that. But I just happened to be at a company where they were anal about how big you were. Unfortunately for me, I couldn't help it. The medication that I was taking at the time, which was prednisone, rendered me to be overweight. There was no way around it. Couldn't get lipo. I couldn't be cut, period, because you would bleed out. So that was something I had to skate across. Anyway, Puffy just happened to be an intern extraordinaire. And I can remember a gentleman by the name of Kurt Woodley, who was working for Andre Harrell at Uptown. And I come out of the booth from the writing room, which is a space that we all shared. Uptown, the studio, the publishing office, Tita Gray or James Jackson's office, was right there on the shoulder of the corner, the east side of the building. And when I came out, Mary J. Blige's then manager let me know. He says, "Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?" And he said, "My name is Kurt Woodley." I said, "Yeah." He said, "We found an artist that she kind of sounds like you. She reminds us of you, but she's not, polished. And we really think that if you can work with her for a little while, she has a possibility. I mean, she's not nowhere near ready right now, but I didn't know what he was talking about until he finished that sentence. And he said, "We found her at the mall. She was out there doing karaoke. She was doing Anita Baker's music on a karaoke, and they discovered her. It just happened to be Mary J. Blige. And so they said, can you think you can work with her?" And me, I could work with anybody at the time. I was what you call a goat back then. I was hungry. I was passionate about music. So I thought I could fix everything. And so I said, "Yeah, I'll work with her." So they told her, "Okay, you're going to work with Angie Stone. You're going to work with her." And so I took her to my house. At this particular time, I was living in Little Ferry, New Jersey. And I took her to my house. My then partner, Dave Wright, from the group Vertical Hold, was actually, all he was concerned about was trying to become the next big producer. He was infatuated with Teddy Riley. So everything was, how you like this, how you like this. Well, for me, it was cool because at that time, Prince, that's right, the Prince, had given me all of his equipment. I had a Juno 106 that I prided. That was my pride and joy because Prince had used that to cut Jill Jones's material, his material. And he had moved out of his penthouse in New York, and he was really took a liking to me. He says, "Angie, do you want this equipment and this furniture?" Because he couldn't take it with him. And I said, "Yeah." I mean, he had zebra rugs, all purple leather furniture. It was awesome. And at the time, I couldn't fit it all in my house. So I said, "I'm still working a 9 to 5. It's been rough." I said, "But I'll find a storage place and put it into a storage place." I kept the keyboards and stuff in my house. The furniture and all that stuff went into a storage house near the west side. Lo and behold, I fell behind on the bill. This is very sickening because it should never have happened. And I went one day to settle my bill, and the building had sold all my furniture that Prince had given me. So somewhere, somehow, someone is sitting with all of Prince's stuff in their space, and they don't have a clue that they have Prince's stuff. The Juno 106, which was the keyboard I started recording on, Dave Bright and I broke up, and he kept it, kind of like hold it over my head. But enough of that story. Let me get back to the Mary J. Blige. So, Mary J. Blige comes to my house in New Jersey, in Little Ferry, New Jersey. And I had written this song called "I Ain't Taking No Shorts." I wrote this song because they at Uptown, Kurt Woodley, Puffy, all of the powers that be was saying she ain't ready. She got to get her look together. We don't like the way she looks. And I thought she was very cool. She was average looking young teenager that, obviously had to grow into womanhood, but she wasn't a bad looking girl at all. And you can clearly see that, given her beautiful features, that she was an attractive girl. But they looked at her as hood girl. And so I was angry for her. And I took the position of, okay, I'm going to write some words that you can really sink your teeth into. And the song was, "I Ain't Taking No Shorts. No, not this time." And the first line of that song was, "Baby, don't you know what time it is? Time for me to begin